Hey, Steve Isaac, architect. Build Show Network. Yeah, that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about sliders. Now, I just walked through one, but that's not the kind of slider I'm talking about today. Right? A lot of times when we say sliders, immediately people start thinking about sliding glass doors out to the patio, out to the screen and porch. But we're going to talk about truss sliders. Now, they might have other names. I know them as sliders because early on in my career, I worked with a production home builder, designed all of their homes, and the truss manufacturer there called them sliders. And so I just always carried that name. Basically, what a truss slider is, if I want to increase the height between the lower cord and the upper cord, I can simply slide the upper cord vertically and slide a 2x4, a 2x6, or a 2x8 into that space to give me whatever heel height that I desire for the project. So if we come over here and you look at these trusses, you can see we have a 2x6 bottom cord, we have a 2x6 top cord, but notice that for about the last 2 feet, we have a 2x that is inserted and it's cut to the taper of that slope and is basically inserted there so that when we get above the plate here, we're hitting that 8 or 10 inch heel height that we desired for the project, right? So if you take a walk over here, and you can see there, you can see it very clearly there. We have a 2x4 top cord, 2x4 bottom cord, and notice that that 2x6 is then slid in there, and then that larger gang plate at the end is actually capturing the top cord of the slider and that bottom cord. And again, that's basically to displace that top cord from the bottom cord to increase the heel height of the truss, which benefits us from an insulation level. Probably the easiest way to understand that is, let's go back to the studio, we'll grab some of the details, we'll pull up that detail on the truss, and we'll talk about it a little further. So I'll see you back at the studio. Hey everybody. So hopefully you enjoyed that little trip out there. Our nice little contemporary ranch coming along well, and as always, it's going to perform as good as it looks. So, slider truss. You saw it out there. Basically, we slide that 2x6 or 2x8 down in between those top and bottom cords. We got details, we got big red, and we got some time in the studio here. So let's get after it. All right. So you can see the detail here. Just to give you a little orientation, you can see there's our double top plate of the wall. And that's our wall stud there. We have our zip bar sheathing on the outside there. Our furring strips and siding there. You can see our soffit. We have our outrigger there. And most importantly, you can see this is the bottom of the top cord of the truss. And there's the top of that top cord there. That gets trimmed there. And then you can see the bottom cord is right there. That sits right on top of that top plate. The piece that is the important piece is right here. All right. It's this piece that gets slid in. That is actually goes in like that. And comes out like that. That is what we call the slider. And again, some people might know it from other names. This is coming from a truss manufacturer in the Southwest where, I don't know, I've probably done close to about 6,000 homes with them. And this was our standard detail, was to add the slider. Now, what that is it's basically a wedge that when you insert it in that fashion, it's basically splitting the top cord and the bottom cord. Because that standard relationship would be something like you'd have the bottom cord of the truss here and the top cord of the truss would go right by it like that. And then that would go out and sit like that. The problem is that with your wall here, this throat dimension or heel dimension there is probably on the order of about 4 inches, which you have a lot of thermal loss through there. You're going to melt all this and you're going to create ice dams here, right? So you're trying to be a little bit more energy efficient there and start rising that number up. So you can see here, we typically have a minimum of 10 inches. Sometimes it goes as high as 16 inches. It depends on where we're building in the country. In this particular case, it's 10 inches. So the way that we make up that 10 inches is by inserting this slider in there, and we get the 3.5 and the 3 and change there. But then this ends up being about 3 and change. So this whole dimension now is 10 inches. So we can get our insulation and basically fill this whole area with insulation to the tune of that 10 inches and basically bring our insulation levels in nice and tight to the outside of that wall there. And basically that's all that slider is doing, is basically providing a wedge so that top cord goes up, the bottom cord goes down there and basically splits them open so that we get a nice big dimension. And you can see by the time we get into somewhere at the edge of the slider, we're already at probably somewhere around 24 inches in height there. So, sometimes people call them a energy truss. I've heard them called. Sometimes it's called energy heel. So, there's a lot of names. The slider is what this truss manufacturer calls for. Sometimes even you might not slide that in. They'll just put a vertical 2x6 in here like that aligns with the wall, and then just run a whole truss plate over the 3 of them and connect all 3 of those pieces in there and not necessarily have that one. So again, all truss manufacturers make them, different ways. The important factor is getting it in there and getting this, what I term heel height, and what I believe to be the right term for that. You want to make sure you get that heel height. And typically when we draw the roof framing plan, we'll draw truss elevations and we'll outline exactly what that dimension is on the heel height for to meet our expectations, basically. So anyways, there you have it. That's our slider. It's increasing that height to 10 inches. Gives us a real energy efficient heel height, otherwise known possibly as the energy truss or the energy heel. But overall, this falls into category 4 of the control layers. Thermal control, right? Control is key. Continuity is key. Remember all those terms. But there you have it. Slider truss. Well, there you have it. Big Red came through like a champ again. So anyways, hopefully you enjoyed that. A little bit of info on how to make your roof trusses just a little bit more energy efficient. If you're looking for more, I have 10 plus colleagues on the Build Show Network. We got thousands of videos there. Go check them out. All of these guys and gals are doing an awesome job. Check out all their videos, from history with Brent to remodeling with Zach to cutting a hot water heater in half with Eric. So you get to see it all right here on the Build Show Network. And the thing that I love the most is all this stuff is stuff that's happening right now. None of us are using archive footage. This is all stuff that we're doing today, this week, this month, and we're sharing it with you. So if you're looking for more from me, Steve Basic Architect on Instagram. You can find me there, posting daily. If you're still looking for more, I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok. You can find me all around. Steve Basic Architect. And lastly, Unbuild It Podcast. Yeah, that's right. Team up with good friends Jake Bruton and Peter Yost. And we share everything we know. I mean, since we got Peter in, that's over 200 years of building knowledge. So might want to go check that out. So anyways,
There you have it. Truss slider, Steve Basic Architect. Hopefully you had some fun. Long live our buildings.